And welcome to another episode of Community Forum. I'm joined today by Melanie Seiler, the Executive Director for Active Southern West Virginia. Melanie, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
So I guess my first question is just about Active Southern West Virginia itself, and just kind of give me some background about the organization, who you guys are, what you do, what you're so passionate about.
So we are a nonprofit organization promoting and encouraging physical activity so that we can improve the health of the community, the health of the workforce in Southern West Virginia.
There's a whole lot to unpack with that, but first, let's kind of dive into your background. Who are you as the Executive Director? How's your experience shaped you for this role?
So I am a Fayette County native. I grew up in Fayetteville, went to Ansted Elementary School, and just love this area. I studied adventure recreation and being in the outdoors, how to take people out in the outdoors safely, and the benefits that you experience in recreation and physical activity. So that was a great stepping stone into this opportunity with Active Southern West Virginia. And I found growing up here that there sometimes is a disconnect between our recreation and our local community and kids growing up here who don't know exactly all the resources that are in their backyard.
Can you talk a little bit about that disconnect? Because I feel like that's kind of a driving force of what you do at Active SWV.
Exactly, and so we have a huge tourism industry here in Southern West Virginia, especially with the national park designation that's happening now. So sometimes it feels like those tourist areas and places aren't for the locals. So I really want to bridge that gap for people to understand that these trailheads are theirs in their backyard, and there's lots of benefits that come with being active and being outdoors and indoor activities as well. So looking to make those efforts to change that culture of health and bring out more physical activity with families.
So one of those activities that's coming up is a diabetes class. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, so West Virginia does have some poor health outcomes, and we want to provide health education and resources for those, and one of those is our diabetes class. And we are being innovative with that. We are going to offer it all online. So this is a national program that our Active Southern West Virginia staff are trained to deliver. We're partnered with WVU Extension agents who are great educators as well. So we deliver this all online. It's a diabetes prevention program for people who are diagnosed as pre-diabetic. So if your primary care physician, if your doctor is telling you that your A1C levels are too high, if you have a family history of diabetes, there are ways you can make small changes daily and weekly that can prevent the onset of diabetes. And diabetes later in life is very hard. It does decrease your quality of life greatly. So let's make those steps now to make that change. So we're currently enrolling people in the next 2 weeks. We want to get that diabetes class started in August.
And that kind of goes into my next question, just how being active can really improve your quality of life. Can you talk some more specifics about how being active can be so useful, not just making yourself more fit, but in all facets of your life?
Yes, definitely. Increasing your physical activity minutes in a week's time you can see great benefits. You're going to improve sleep, you're going to improve your mood, your metabolism. In addition to strengthening your body, your organs, your heart is strengthening, your immune system is going to be boosted so that when you do face disease or viruses, you're able to combat those better, and you're going to have a better quality of life. So what we promote is 150 minutes of physical activity a week. That's physical activity where you are accelerating your heart rate. So trying to get that heart rate up from just your regular resting heart rate, and that's when you're going to see the benefits. And approaching it with a week, looking at it as a week's agenda, you're not defeated if you have a bad day or if your schedule gets thrown off for one day. That's okay. Just continue to work on that week's goal and then add those weeks together.
Kind of going off of that, like you said, might have a bad day. Sometimes the schedule can be difficult. Do you have any tips and tricks to help people, fit active time in around their schedule?
Definitely. So not only are we promoting physical activity and creating all these programs and events, a big component of that is the social connection. And so the social accountability that comes with saying you're going to join a group, you're going to join a friend, and you're going to bring your family with you. So you have to build those healthy friendships around yourself and really get the family engaged in that. So all of our programs and activities are built for the family. It can be multi-generational, they're beginner level, so that you're not taking away from your family time and feeling selfish that you're doing something just for yourself when that does benefit and keep you healthy so that you can be there for your family. So we want to make it available with the social supports for everyone in the family.
Can you talk a little bit more about how being active can and should be a family and a community exercise?
Sure. So you need to have children being active for 60 minutes a day. So going back to that recommendation of 150 minutes for adults in a week's time, kids need 60 minutes a day of that elevated heart rate. So getting the kids out for activities and events that also the parents are there and engaged in, grandparents, whoever the caregiver is providing that activity. Looking at other programs. There's great after-school programs throughout all of our counties. One of those that we offer is the free after-school Kids Run Club, and that is provided to school faculty at no charge. It's actually a mini grant. They apply and we give them $250 for any equipment they may want for their club, pre and post surveys to measure building confidence in physical activity, and a manual that they can follow that has the all-inclusive gameplay so that you're building the kids' confidence in being active and having fun while they're doing it. So we do that 6 to 8 week Kids Run Club in the fall and the spring, and that's getting ready to start in August too.
So what needs does Southern West Virginia have right now when it comes to being active that your programs kind of help alleviate?
So when you look at barriers to physical activity, the main barriers that we're looking to address would be fear of injury, lack of transportation, costs for equipment or gym memberships, feeling like you don't have the knowledge for that certain skill or activity, and there's probably a few more, but let me address those. So the ones I just mentioned, by having our programs led by a volunteer, we call them community captains, you know you're going to go and meet somebody who's going to welcome you, tell you all about it, help you go through the activities, kind of give you that knowledge base, and then also be looking out risk management, making sure everybody is safe in what they're doing. And again, accountability, the social accountability that comes with that. Then we place our programs throughout small communities. It's not one location serving 9 counties. These programs are placed where the community captains are in their hometown, a small community center, it may be a local city park, county park, any venue space that we can find partnership with for these community captains, so we're eliminating that transportation barrier. And that helps to address the challenges because we're rural, so we're geographically spread out.
And kind of going off of that, one thing that's really important outside even just being active is that sense of community. Can you talk a little bit about how being active builds a sense of community in a lot of these small towns, rural areas, kind of helps bring people together?
Definitely, and we see that in our running groups and walking groups where you're joining those groups and you're coming out, yes, for your own physical activity and getting those minutes in, but again, developing those healthy friendships, those relationships, knowing what's going on. And when you're walking and running in those groups, you're also talking about events and issues and challenges that are going on in that community. And so it's opening that network and that dialogue to be able to maybe take steps to improve certain issues in that community, or access to walkability or bikeability, or access to another place that's feeling restricted. So it's a little community effort organically working to remove barriers.
And you talked a little bit about how being active improves mental health. As your mental health improves, do you think that helps you, treat your community with more optimism and make you more excited to tackle those issues?
Definitely. It gives you a sense of resilience, and we hear that term pretty frequently post-pandemic, but you're able to manage feeling defeated. You bounce back faster and easier when you have that elevated mental health and feeling the supports that are around you. So, yeah.
And you don't just do events, you advocate for change as well. One of the things is the Bike Walk Southern West Virginia. What are some things that you feel really passionate about in that sort of area?
So in that area, we want to establish the venue partners. If that's local governments, community centers, school systems, higher education, private businesses, and we are onboarding venue partners very frequently. And so we set up that partnership where we advise on their space, how's it look, what's the access, and then that door is open for a community captain to host the programming. That free community captain programming of the community captain's choice of what kind of activity they want to do and lead. And that is how we're making those efforts in those smaller towns and communities.
And how does someone become a venue partner? Say they have a space at their business or just a church or something like that. How do people get on board and help partner with you guys to provide a venue?
So we have a venue partner form, an application form that's completed and filled out, and then our staff will reach back out to have that phone call conversation to really get into the logistics of what's available, how would you like to see the space used, how would you like the access handled, and then it's pretty customized per space on how that's going to be set up. And then we additionally insure every venue partner. So we are doing waivers, release of liability forms with all of our programs, sign-in sheets, sign-out sheets. Again, that insurance policy with the venue space. Then we're tracking the use at that space. So if they want to report back, say they need to apply for another grant, or they're looking for other partnership, or they want to demonstrate that they are contributing to the community, then we can produce back that report to show the frequency of how they are offering their space to the community.
We're about to go to break for the first half of the show, but before we go, just one kind of final question before we go to break. Why is it so important for people to be active? Kind of like your 30-second just elevator speech.
It's so important because it is going to elevate that quality of life. It's an avenue for social connection, and that is really impactful. And you're just going to have a happier time in life, increasing physical activity.
All right, so before we head to break, how can people get a hold of you if they want to get involved?
The best way to get in touch with us, we have our email address, info, like information, info@activeswv for Southern West Virginia.org. Our website, we love our website. We're updating it constantly. So again, activeswv.org. We're throughout social media. Our Facebook page is the full Active Southern West Virginia for Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. We're getting all the information pushed out. So hopefully people will connect with us. And if you'd like to give us a call, the number's 304-254-8488.
All right, thank you so much. We're going to head to break now, but when we come back, we'll be diving into some of the specific programs that Active SWV provides. So don't go anywhere. You're watching WOAY. Hello and welcome back to Community Forum. We're joined today by Melanie Seiler, the Executive Director of Active Southern West Virginia. And when we left, we were discussing why it's important to stay active. And now for the second half of our show, I really want to hone in on how people can get active. So the first question I have is something we discussed in the first part briefly, is the community captains. Can you tell us a little bit more about those people?
Sure. Community captains, I like to say, are the heart and soul of the organization. So those are individuals who are volunteering to lead a physical activity of their choice, a place that's convenient to them, and a day and time that's convenient to them. So they're choosing when and where to program. We're providing leadership training, CPR and first aid certifications, and additional certifications in their area of interest. The idea is to offer their programming on a weekly basis, a set schedule. We need to have that repetitive participation in activity to make a lifestyle change, to really see the benefits. So we want to see that ongoing programming. So just some examples of what community captains are leading right now. Like in Fayette County, we have High Fitness, which is an aerobics class, a run group, walking groups, pickleball. Have you played pickleball yet?
I have played pickleball. I'm not very good yet, but I do really enjoy it. It's great.
Lots of opportunities in Fayette and Raleigh County for pickleball. Disc golf, water aerobics, chair aerobics. Raleigh County, we have Refit, which is a branded aerobics class. That's offered 3 days a week, and people are religiously attending their Refit classes, and run groups and walk groups in Raleigh County. Kanawha County has a great variety specifically around the Charleston area with step classes, yoga, Zumba, line dancing, Tai Chi, water aerobics. And then we go into some one-time activities that are seasonal. So some of those outdoor recreation activities like stand-up paddleboarding, outdoor water aerobics, Pilates classes outside at the Oak Hill Amphitheater, and then lots of hikes in our state parks and our national parks, and those are spread throughout the trail systems. So we love our community captains and those participants that are coming out to those programs. We continually onboard community captains, so anybody can inquire and join us as a volunteer at any time. We have staff that work specifically with community captains, and we're looking forward to August 30th will be our annual volunteer appreciation event. We're opening it up to the public this year, so if you'd like to come out and learn a little bit more, see what these volunteers are like, and talk about what volunteering looks like with us, that August 3rd at the Confluence Resort. We're going to have a wonderful evening.
It sounds like these community captains, they're not just workout leaders. They're being trained to become real leaders in the community to help, not just with doing active things, but getting people on board with just being a good member of the community.
Exactly. It's a step in leadership, so it is a resume building experience. They're given as much ownership as they want with the programming. We highly encourage that each community captain is inviting their family, neighbors, friends, coworkers, church members to come and join their program. And then again, it is located within their community. So it's well received. It keeps growing. It's something we tried out 8 years ago, and it's going full force.
So it sounds like there's a lot of good stuff to do, but let's say someone isn't ready to take that step into leadership, but they want to be involved. All the cool activities you've mentioned, how can people find out about those in their community and get signed up for it?
Yes, so programming is hard to track down. I mean, it's constantly changing, but we use our website calendar, activeswv.org/calendar. That website calendar is the home base of everything that's going on. We just did updates to it. You can now search by county, by activity, filter that calendar, look at it in a week's time or look at a month view. And then within each activity, there's descriptions, directions, and also our contact information to reach out if you have questions about a trailhead or exactly where to go. So website calendar's home base. From there, we share out social media and program flyers, and from there.
Well, there's a whole list of just programs and events that I want to get into, but the first thing I want to ask about is the hikes you mentioned. And as you said, we're in southern West Virginia. There's all these beautiful state parks, a national park as well. How does being out in nature, and especially in a setting as beautiful as this, do you think that helps encourage people to be more active?
It definitely does, and there are lots of studies out there that show the benefits of being in nature, even if it's 5 and 10 minutes of stepping outside. And I highly encourage people to be active year-round. So using our programs to feel comfortable at certain trailheads, to get to know the trails. All the hikes are beginner friendly, they're shorter distances. We're not going extreme by any means. And it's a great way to get to know the area, and then you can feel comfortable going back there later on your own or taking your family to that location.
One program I want to talk about is the Kids Run Club, and this program kind of speaks to me personally because I was that weird kid growing up who was always excited at soccer practice when it was time to go run. So can you talk a little bit about the Kids Run Club and what it offers? Yes,
so the Kids Run Club, again, that's been happening for 8 years. This past spring semester, we had 22 elementary schools participating. So that is led by volunteer coaches. Typically, those are faculty member, but parents joining in as well to be the coaches of the run clubs. We are targeting elementary school age because at that age, typically they haven't identified yet if they are athletic or not. We want to build that confidence in there in a fun, welcoming gameplay way so that they can view themselves as being able to be active, able to be athletic, even if they're not the stereotypical athlete. So we're targeting kids who may not be in any other sport. Maybe their parents, just logistically can't make that happen for them at a younger age, and offering, again, that 6 to 8 week program. So there's repetitive behavior change that's happening and building that confidence in physical activity. We finish all the run clubs with a fun run. So each school personalizes their fun run. It might be a color run. In the fall, typically they're ending around Halloween, so there might be costume fun runs. And we're inviting the family, caregivers to come to that fun run to be part of that. So we do surveys, pre and post surveys. One of my favorite questions we added to the post survey, and the kids fill these out, is, were you able to get somebody at home more physically active with you? And they answer 75% of the time, they say, yes, I was able to get somebody at home more active with me. So there's some strategy there to getting the kids active, gets the family active, and we love that result.
Yeah, that's just one more example of how being active quickly becomes a family endeavor, right?
Yes, and it's fun, and it's not a race, and it doesn't have to be competitive. It's completing and enjoying the activity.
And how does an environment like that kind of springboard kids into adopting a healthy lifestyle going forward once they're no longer in the run club, but as they grow up? How does it make them more interested in staying active throughout their life?
So when they're going through the run club, they're seeing and talking about how their body is responding. They do feel the struggles. They are sweating, they are tired, but they're also coming out and feeling excited and can feel that rush of enthusiasm when they're out playing. So giving them the sense to realize those feelings and what their body is experiencing through physical activity. Then obviously a lot of kids will go into sports in middle school from those run clubs and feeling comfortable being part of a club and that first relationship with a coach. So a lot of middle schools in our counties, kids can join those sports and they don't have to rely on a caregiver to get them everywhere they need to go. That was my story. My mom would say, you can join sports when you can get yourself to and from the activity. So I was like, oh, come on, middle school, so I can do all the things. But also, I strongly see and believe that Kids Run Club also sets kids up to be active in creative ways. So if they're not group sports oriented, they can still enjoy hikes, roller skating, disc golf, venture out in other ways that maybe isn't the school sport path, but still they're being active.
So moving on from being a kid to the not so much fun parts of being an adult, your workplace wellness program you do, can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure, and that is definitely a big switch. Our workplace wellness program is our most structured program. We follow a CDC evidence-based training program, and then the work site is implementing policy systems and environmental changes. So here we start to move away from the individual level programming and more about the place of business. So is there walkability around the building for physical activity breaks? What is the food that's coming in and out of the building? Can there be improvements there? What are the policies and the benefits that are already associated with that work site's health insurance policy? How can those be better leveraged? And so we work with work sites. So this fall we're offering a free training, that CDC training. Our staff can deliver that training. It's all online training, easy. We try to make it as easy as possible. And then we give out grants. So if a person at a business, so you need a point person at a business, wants to enroll with us, they'll go through the training. From that training, they're developing an action plan, what they think they can improve upon, and we provide a $1,500 grant to support whatever they need to purchase to implement that plan.
This may sound like kind of a dumb question, but why is it so important to be active in the workplace?
We spend so many hours of our day in our work settings, and we can become very sedentary. If you can get up and walk every hour, you'll see benefits. If you can add 2 15-minute physical activity breaks into the workday, you'll start to see benefits from those. So it's an opportunity to reduce sedentary behavior, and it's an opportunity to provide health education material to somewhat of a captive audience. It's also, from the business perspective, if you can improve the health of the workforce, you're going to reduce your health care costs to the employee and the employer. And how about retention? How about attraction? Does it not look appealing for somebody who's job hunting and wanting to come to Southern West Virginia for all our recreation to choose a business that is prioritizing the health and wellness of their employees?
As we start to wind down towards the end of the show here, what are some events coming up that you really want to plug and get people aware of?
Okay, so we mentioned Community Captain Programs, website calendar. There's going to be probably 180 opportunities in August to come out and explore those. In addition to that, we have a golf tournament coming up the end of August. So that's a great fundraiser for the organization. So if you believe in what we're trying to do, there's lots of ways to contribute and donate and participate with the organization. So through that golf tournament, we also do race events. So Bridge Days coming up in October, we do a 5K across the New River Gorge Bridge, and that's our largest fundraiser. So this year, we're setting a goal to exceed all the numbers previously to have the most West Virginians ever running in the Bridge Day 5K. Other race events will be coming out in 2024. We do a race on Fayette Station Road, so you run from the top of the gorge down to the bottom and back up. And other than that, we have an online retail store, so we get local artists to design shirts and apparel for us, and we sell those online again to fundraise for the organization. So lots of things going on. We are full force, and a lot of things happening in August with the diabetes class. Now's the time to sign up. Kids Run Club, so applying and getting that mini grant for the Kids Run Club program in August, and workplace wellness in September.
Well, Melanie, thank you so much. And just real quick, what's the contact information for you?
For me, info@activeswv.com, and our website, activeswv.org, and our phone number, 304-254-8488.
Thank you so much. You've been watching Community Forum. Have a great Sunday.